Good morning, everyone. So I am the CEO of Responsible AI UK. I also run, for the last 3 years, I've been running a program called the UKRI Trustworthy Autonomous Systems Hub. Just to tell you that, it's trustworthy and responsible AI is not a new problem. We've been thinking about this problem for quite a while. The last 10, 15 years, I've been working on various projects in the defense industry, the energy industry, building all sorts of AI and human-machine teaming systems. And in the last 3 years, UKRI invested, 4 years ago, UKRI invested about £33 million in a program called the Trustworthy Autonomous Systems Program, which is looking at a range of issues across a range of sectors. Healthcare, autonomous vehicles, defense and security, and looking at multidisciplinary approaches to addressing some of the emerging trust and responsible AI challenges that we have. Last year, it was decided to UKRI funded this big program called Responsible AI UK. We started back in May 2023, and that's to just further investigate these issues in responsible AI as ChatGPT was coming up as a disruptor in this field. And many issues, again, that require a multidisciplinary lens to look at and address. Policymakers having lots of challenges to deal with, educators, technologists, professional services companies, all sorts of parts of this AI ecosystem having to deal with not just issues of safety, of technical reliability, but the ethical implications of these systems, societal changes that it will bring about, etc. And I think to truly build responsible and trustworthy AI, you need to start with a team that is multidisciplinary, that takes these diverse perspectives on the problem, but also diverse in gender, and brings in perspectives from across the UK and the world. So this is our team, made up of well-known names, Wendy Hall, Gina Neff, Murphy Calder, Tom Rodden, Prakash Gupta, expert in health and in neurology, but also experts in specific fields, social sciences, public participation, cybersecurity, AI policy, digital technologies and their implications on the labor markets, network technologies, defense security experts. A really diverse team that we built with members from across the 4 nations of the UK, to really bring that really wide perspective, holistic perspective on what is trustworthy and responsible AI. And I think when I talk about trustworthy AI, I'm a professor of AI. I've built AI, I've deployed AI, I've built human-machine teaming systems. I understand what it means to build these sorts of systems to work responsibly for the end users, for those that will be impacted by the system. And when I hear sometimes people telling me, responsible AI is just a buzzword, it's just a concern for regulators, it's just a concern for the ethicists, I try to push back, because I really think we as technologists need to worry about responsible AI because of a number of reasons. And you will have heard some of these reasons from the previous speakers. We create technologies that introduce new cyber vulnerabilities in systems. We create these as technologies. We create more complex systems for humans to manage with one or multiple humans, one or multiple agents, software agents, robotic agents of all sorts. We create these systems and we impose them on society. We create systems that fail with no explanations. Maybe a technical explanation, as Paula presented, for the automated vehicle sector. You need an explanation for the regulators to look at, but not an explanation for society, not an explanation for the users that is meaningful, that allows them measures of redress. And we have, as we saw earlier from Nigel's talk, systems that can process trillions of parameters, billions of parameters now, maybe trillions of parameters in real time at machine speed. And we ask humans to make decisions in real time alongside these systems, like in the automated vehicle case. Is it fair to place a human in a situation where a car may pop an alert in real time, at the last minute before someone gets hit and impose liabilities on the human driver following an accident. Is that fair? So these are the questions we need to inform policymakers. We need to tell them, look, these are the systems that we're building, these are implications of these systems. We need to work with industry, with the academics, the experts, to try and fix these issues that we create. Because we are not going to be able to fix all of these ourselves. So the whole point of Responsible AI UK is to try and bring this AI ecosystem that includes all these parts of different sectors, different elements of policy, different elements of research, to work together. Because so far we have seen organizations like the Ramchurn Institute, like the universities across the UK, just working individually on their own little projects. Responsible AI is not trying to replace all of these, it's trying to bring them together and address some of these emerging issues and fill the gaps where it can. And I'll explain how we do that. And at the end, our vision really is to build and enable responsible and trustworthy AI for the benefits of everyday life, for everyone in society, not just the few who can afford the technology. And we'll do this by building this national AI ecosystem where all voices are heard. So communities like this one and many others going around the UK, and we've done this quite, we've gone around the different parts of the UK and different communities and trying to, and surface some of the challenges that they face. Deliver research that address these challenges either by funding it or doing the research ourselves. And develop these national conversations around AI, for example, around the issues of copyright in the creative industries, which we did recently. There are 4 key areas of this program. One is about research, innovation, and funding. So doing the research, funding innovation, and innovations in this sector. We also act as a convener and help build the ecosystem. Another key part is the skills program. Just yesterday we announced our first skills funding call, £500,000 for a number of projects in this space to create new resources for AI education and responsible AI. And finally, the theme of the program is really around public and policy engagement. So working closely with the chief scientific advisors, with the different government departments, and also engaging with the public through large surveys. Lots of research is now going in. So our USPs as a program look at trusted expertise. So we have a strong research team. The leadership team itself is made up of experts who have run large AI programs, large human-machine teaming programs, social science programs. And we have employed a number of young researchers who will help us deliver this interdisciplinary research that is needed right now. We are deploying funding. We have deployed so far about £12 billion of funds to a number of different kinds of projects. So impact accelerator projects that look to translate very quickly research that has been done into impactful applications. We have funded about 12 international partnerships, realizing that we can't be world leaders in responsible AI if we don't work with the rest of the world. So funded quite a few projects in this space. With countries like the US, France, India, many countries in Africa, really trying to bring that diversity of perspectives to how we build AI. Because if we're not going to build, if we build AI that is only meant for the UK population, then we won't be able to export the AI. It will not be acceptable to users globally. And we also play that role of convener and connector of the community. So we have launched our partner network to help with this. I can go into that at the end if I have time. And through that partner network, connecting different parts of the ecosystem, connecting the industry partners to our research teams and to other research teams across the UK. So just to be clear again, in terms of how we work, we're not there to replace anyone. We are conveners, we are not competitors. And we're multidisciplinary by design. We're committed to excellence in everything we do, in terms of the research that we produce, but also in the advice that we give. And we understand where we accept that. Sometimes we will make mistakes in terms of how we do our work, in terms of delivering funding or doing the research, and then we'll fix these as we go. and try to be as fair and transparent as we can. We play the role of a funder. In some ways, we are acting as UKRI in some places, delivering this funding, but in a very different way, actually having a say about what are the themes that we should research. I'm going to talk about the themes in a second. So since we started, we've done a number of things. We've first gone out and listened to the community. So we ran 4 town halls in Cardiff, Glasgow, Belfast, London. Gathered views across these different regions and ran a number of roundtables, 22 roundtables, to get a sense of what the research questions we should be addressing. About a week ago, we ran a community building event where we brought in all the AI hubs and the AI CDTs, the Centres for Doctoral Training, from across the UK. That represented about £200 million of investment in one room. And we got them to reflect on the emerging responsible AI challenges. It had never been done before. We are trying to be that convener. We're going to organize similar events with a range of investments on AI for net zero, or AI for healthcare in the next 2 months. And through these events, what we're doing is not just getting people to network, which is a big part of it, but also to really discuss fundamental problems that they think are emerging in the landscape. Not waiting for Elon Musk or Sam Altman to tell us what's coming next. It's actually getting the perspective from the researchers, understanding what is being done at the cutting edge, and then translating that back to the policymakers, to the industry leaders, and saying these are the questions we need to address through either more funding or through better collaborations. We organize a number of convenings, for example, the AI Fringe, a number of partners. I mentioned the funding, and we have a regular webinar series where our projects, PIs will talk, and key players in the sector will also be talking. So through our community building activities, we have been touching on a number of subjects: AI and sustainability, financial services, manufacturing, large language models, creative roundtables, and a number of themes have emerged. There are 3 key themes that have emerged from our town halls. The first one is around responsible AI-powered organizations and economies. Realizing that AI is introducing new ways of working, is introducing new ways of delivering services and products, delivering new experiences for consumers of these services, and having long-term impact on the users, but also those who deliver these services, which then requires them to either reskill or upskill, continually adapting to the AI that is built into their organizations. The second theme is around addressing harms. A number of harms were mentioned earlier around biases in the system, security issues introduced by AI systems, and that requires research into the validation, tracking the provenance of AI-based decision-making, auditing regimes, auditing toolkits, understanding the impact on labor rights, on social justice, and understanding what are the trade-offs we make when we introduce these systems. We can say no. We can always say no if we want to, if we understand what are the trade-offs we're going to make. For example, around critical thinking. We're building now AI, and we're funding some project at the Open University to build a tool to help teachers better provide feedback to students. And this tool is going to use generative AI. So literally replacing the human in providing feedback to students based on their coursework, on their exams, etc. Is that a good thing to do? That does disconnect the student from the teacher, but maybe it provides better feedback than the teacher who's overstretched anyway. There's a trade-off there. Third theme that emerged is around AI law, governance, regulation in an international context. And the international context is a key part of this, where many other countries are developing their own standards, their own regulations, and which may diverge from what we are deciding to do here in the UK. So how can we make sure that standards are aligned, are interoperable, making sure that our approach promotes fairness, accountability for users of all kinds, and these are embedded in our laws, in our regulations. To help with connecting the rest of the community to Responsible AI UK, we have formed a number of working groups. We have a working group led by Murphy Calder, for example, on defense security, another one on health and care, which is really active. And we've not yet announced this publicly, but I'll just let you know now. With the health and care working group, we're working with guys in St. Thomas Hospital to deploy a program to train 250 AI champions, for example, across the NHS. These are kinds of sort of impactful nuggets of work that we can strategically invest in to really influence the sector. And we're going to try and do that across all of other sectors as well. So we have a working group on law regulation that's mainly focusing on the creative industries right now. Public participation that's looking to gather views from across the UK. Large public surveys will be carried out in collaboration with the Turing, with the Ada Lovelace Institute, to try and understand where the gaps are, or the distance between what the public perceives as a risk of AI and what the experts perceive as the risk in AI. We also have a future of work working group being built up to be led by Gina. I'll just mention the AI Fringe, which we ran last year in collaboration with the with Milpal Partners, with the Alan Turing Institute, Ada, and many others, out of which we wrote a white paper, which you can have a look at on the website, on the AI Fringe site, and it talks a bit about some of the themes that I mentioned earlier. Use and abuse of generative AI, for example, AI in policing, which is quite a common topic, and ensuring sustainable AI development. I think to this community, this is a key one to raise. AI, as it's generating all these amazing insights, amazing capabilities that will allow organizations to automate, make machine readable, lots of different processes, lots of data sets, lots of decision making being fully automated. It does have an impact on our environment. It does drain away energy from many of our power plants. And many of these power plants tend to be green power plants, so the solars and the wind turbines, etc., that are now powering many data centers. And increasingly, data centers are consuming more and more power than whole countries. We need to worry about the trade-offs we're making by powering this AI. Is it a good use of energy, for example, to generate a funny picture on stable diffusion? It might take as much energy as pumping water up a tank. We need to worry about those things, and I think maybe even think about taxing some of these applications to fund carbon reducing activities like building more solar farms. So interesting issues that have come out of these discussions, which is not the typical concern of the responsible AI crowd. So as I mentioned, we love to work with a range of actors in the sector, industry, government, the public. Have launched a number of projects, as I mentioned, the impact accelerators, the international partnerships. We'll be funding more projects like these in the future, but for now we're focusing more on the, at this point in time, on skills. So with the funding call just out now, we will also launch very soon an enterprise fellowship scheme, very similar to the Royal Academy of Engineering one, to fund 2 or 3 enterprise fellows that will look to take the technology out there through startups. These are some of the topics that our international partnerships cover. We are trying to map that out and now trying to connect this to what's going on in the wider landscape. And very soon you'll hear the announcement of the large Keystone project. So these are £3.5 million projects that will look to address fundamental challenges in responsible AI, touching on the 3 themes I mentioned earlier. So the AI harms, responsible AI organizations, and AI law and governance. So we will be announcing those very soon at CogX in Los Angeles. These will run for 4 years, and I invite you all to connect to these projects. And just to make it clear, I'll close on this slide, how you can work with us. You can always contact Responsible AI UK, send me an email, send an email to info@rai.ac.uk. Pose a challenge to the community. We have 20 researchers, we connect to 18 other teams, and now we have the Keystone projects also starting. Offer a platform for these projects to come and talk about the challenges that they're addressing, and attend our partner network events to come and talk directly to our researchers. So I look forward to working with your community as you're launching this initiative. It's really exciting to be here and hopefully get to make some new connections with Responsible AI UK.